And it's the first time they've hired the second lead before they've hired the first. But Robert wants to go in there, and they were talking about Clive Davis and all of that. And I was like, okay, great. She was like, but Robert really wants to go in, but they won't see him. And I was like, I love Robert. I love what he does. I loved him in Weird Science. I loved him.
Who did they want?
They wanted Clive Davis.
Person that I helped become Iron Man to re-up for the second one took the money that was supposed to go to me and pushed me out.
Robert Downey seems to have finally hinted at why Terrence Howard is having such a hard time in the industry, and apparently it all has to do with music mogul Clive Davis. So what exactly did he say? Terrence Howard recently shed some light on his tumultuous exit from the MCU. During an interview, Howard revealed the series of events that led to his departure, involving pay cuts, professional betrayal, and unexpected industry politics. Howard initially secured a lucrative deal with Marvel, agreeing to $8 million for his role in the sequel. However, as production for Iron Man 2 began, Marvel allegedly renegotiated his contract, offering only $1 million. Howard's agent reacted strongly, leading to a fallout with the studio. Howard recalled,
and my agent had an emotional reaction to a business decision, and he said, F you, and hung up the phone. Well, immediately they go to Don Cheadle.
This is where Clive Davis enters the narrative. According to Howard, Davis was initially considered for a significant role in the MCU. During his time filming The Brave One with Jodie Foster, Howard had an encounter with Susan Downey, Robert Downey Jr.'s wife and producer. Howard explained, Susan Downey was a producer with Joel Silver. She comes over to my trailer and says, wow, it's so amazing. Congratulations on Iron Man.
And it's the first time they've hired the second lead before they've hired the first. But Robert wants to go in there, and they were talking about Clive Davis and all of that. And I was like, okay, great. She was like, but Robert really wants to go in, but they won't see him. And I was like, I love Robert. I love what he does. I loved him in Weird Science. I loved him.
Who did they want?
They wanted Clive Davis.
Howard was instrumental in securing Downey Jr.'s audition for Tony Stark. But despite Howard's crucial role in Downey Jr.'s casting, the relationship between the two soured after the pay dispute. Howard tried to reach out to Downey Jr. for support, but his calls went unanswered. Howard lamented, I called him 27 times and I'm like, and leave a message. I'm calling his assistant. I'm like, I need the help I gave you. I didn't hear from him until 3 years later. I bumped into him at Brian Grazer's wedding. He was like, oh, but everything worked out for you. In any case, Terrence Howard is undoubtedly familiar to both movie and TV audiences. With an extensive list of screen credits documented on IMDb, Howard's career received a significant boost when he landed the role of Jackie Jackson in the 1992 made-for-TV movie The Jacksons, An American Dream, depicting the story of the Jackson 5. Following this breakout performance, he starred alongside Martin Lawrence in the 2000 film Big Mama's House, which further elevated his profile in the industry. Howard's talent led to notable projects, including his role in the ensemble drama Crash, which won the Best Picture Oscar at the 2006 Academy Awards.
And the Oscar goes to Crash.
In the following years, Howard secured the lead role in the rap drama Hustle and Flow, a performance that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. His diverse portfolio also included notable projects such as Iron Man, Disney's The Princess and the Frog, the lead role in the short-lived spin-off Law & Order, L.A., and a significant part in director Lee Daniels' The Butler. When Daniels was assembling the cast for his television series Empire, Howard was tapped for the starring role of rapper and mogul Lucius Lyon. The show proved to be a resounding success, running from 2015 until 2020.
I love what you did with the house. Open up a track for me.
However, alongside his on-screen triumphs, Howard is the one actor who is hard to work with. Terrence Howard has garnered a reputation for being challenging to work with, a label that some have attributed to his passionate nature. According to an unnamed television executive cited in the New York Post, Howard is known for being quick to anger and for his uncompromising demeanor when things don't go his way.
When you said after you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you got to walk away for a while or forever?
For good.
I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me, don't say it's forever.
However, Howard himself sees his behavior differently. Reflecting on an early experience in his career, he recounted to the New York Times an incident on the set of The Cosby Show. At just 19 years old, he landed a minor role on the hit sitcom only to later discover he had been cut from the episode. Incensed by this, Howard confronted Bill Cosby directly, insisting on his dignity as a fellow man. This confrontation resulted in consequences for Howard's career as the casting agent refused to work with him again.
I had an opportunity to go and be on The Cosby Show, and I remember walking around it and watching Bill Cosby.
For Howard, this incident established a pattern for his professional life. He explained that he is willing to stand up for what he believes in, even if it means facing repercussions. Terrence Howard landed what could be considered his career-defining role when he was cast as Jim Rhodey Rhodes, also known as War Machine, in the 2008 blockbuster film Iron Man. Notably, Howard was the first actor selected for the role and commanded the highest salary, reportedly earning $3.5 million, with the potential for an additional $5 million if a sequel materialized. He even purportedly offered to reduce his own salary by $1 million to facilitate the casting of Robert Downey Jr., whose well-publicized struggles with substance made the studio hesitant to hire him.
It turns out that the person that I helped become Iron Man, when it was time to re-up for the second one, took the money that was supposed to go to me.
However, when Iron Man 2 was greenlit, Howard claimed he received the news that his role would be diminished along with the promised salary. Allegedly, his agent tersely dismissed the studio's decision with an expletive-laden response before cutting off communication. Subsequently, Don Cheadle assumed the role of Rhodey.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
Howard revealed feeling snubbed by Downey, asserting that his attempts to reach out were met with silence until he left a message emphasizing the support he had extended in the past. According to Howard, Downey never responded, leaving him feeling slighted, particularly considering what he perceived as the financial gain Downey enjoyed at his expense. Howard suggested that Downey profited to the tune of $100 million, indirectly referencing Downey's substantial earnings from subsequent Marvel films and back-end deals.
Terrence Howard and Robert Downey Jr. haven't had the best relationship in the last 10 years, and now he's blaming him for losing $100 million.
In 2008, the release of Iron Man marked the beginning of the most successful franchise in Hollywood history, catapulting Robert Downey Jr. into the ranks of A-list superstardom. Virtually every individual associated with the film, including Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Paul Bettany, has since become an integral part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, one actor departed the superhero flick feeling deeply aggrieved by Marvel Studios. Terrence Howard, initially cast as Calder James Rhodey Rhodes, Tony Stark's right-hand man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, seemed like an ideal fit for the role. However, despite his promising start, Howard's journey with the franchise took an unexpected turn, leading to his departure before Iron Man 2 began filming.
We had a 3-picture deal that before we did the first one, everything was already set out what was going to take place with that. They chose not to honor that deal.
The decision to part ways with Howard stemmed from a variety of factors, including conflicts on set and contentious financial negotiations. Despite his portrayal of Rhodey being well received, behind-the-scenes tensions and disagreements with the studio ultimately led to his exit from the franchise. While Howard's departure prevented him from appearing in subsequent Marvel films like Avengers: Infinity War, the circumstances surrounding his exit underscore the complex dynamics at play within the entertainment industry.
They wanted to go in the direction of having Robert remain as the lead because War Machine was supposed to take over the second one. And so they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse.
Terrence Howard's collaboration with Marvel Studios mirrored the uneasy alliance of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. While their partnership may have shown promise initially, it was fraught with discord, ultimately leading to conflict. Howard's reputation for being difficult to work with preceded him, casting a shadow over his tenure with Marvel. Known for his irascible attitude, Howard openly admitted to the challenges of collaborating with him. This demeanor, ingrained in him since his early acting days, often proved detrimental to his career. During his role in The Best Man, Howard's insistence on delivering lines in his preferred serious tone clashed with the production's vision for the scene.
I don't give a damn what y'all say. Ain't nothing natural about no monogamy.
These incidents underscored Howard's propensity for friction in collaborative settings, setting the stage for his tumultuous relationship with Marvel Studios. According to reports from the New York Post and industry insiders, Terrence Howard's reputation as a hothead and his need for control over every aspect of his work have been well documented. These traits, combined with a history of accusations, created a challenging dynamic for any collaborative effort. Marvel Studios, known for its own assertiveness and occasional clashes with talent over creative differences, has seen its fair share of high-profile departures, including Edward Norton, Edgar Wright, and Patty Jenkins.
As is evident, I got more worried about it. I was very interested because I loved it. I'm not like snobby.
In the mid-2000s, Terrence Howard's star was on the rise, bolstered by acclaimed performances in films like Hustle and Flow and Crash. Marvel recognized his talent and offered him a substantial paycheck, reportedly between $3.5 million and $4.5 million, to portray Colin James Rhodey Rhodes in Iron Man. Surpassing even Robert Downey Jr.'s initial earnings, Howard became not only the first actor signed for the film, but also the highest-paid star in the entire production.
Gut feeling that this movie was going to be really transformative?
No, check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow.
Initially, Howard's collaboration with Marvel appeared promising, with the studio even promising him an additional $5 million if Iron Man 2 moved forward. However, despite the sequel's confirmation, Howard never got the chance to reprise his role as War Machine. The reasons behind this abrupt departure involve a complex interplay of personal and professional dynamics, ultimately resulting in Howard's exit from the franchise. The conclusion of Iron Man holds one of the most poignant moments in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as Terrence Howard's character, considering donning the War Machine suit, utters the bittersweet words, "Next time, baby." However, this next time never materialized for Howard.
Next time, baby.
Reports from the set of Iron Man suggested that Howard's behavior was causing friction among colleagues, earning him a reputation for being difficult to work with. Additionally, director Jon Favreau reportedly had reservations about Howard's portrayal of Rhodey, leading to extensive reshoots and edits.
I was mentioning in your intro, the fact that this whole thing started with, I remember when you were working on that Iron Man movie, and when you had the drawings.
When Marvel Studios began preparing for Iron Man 2, they decided to minimize Terrence Howard's role, which ignited a significant financial dispute. Howard claimed he had a contract for 3 films, guaranteeing him $8 million for the sequel. However, as you already know by now, the studio reportedly offered him only $1 million, a drastic reduction from his initial earnings. Howard was shocked and described it as the surprise of a lifetime. Unwilling to accept such a substantial pay cut, Howard chose to leave the franchise. This financial disagreement marked the end of his tenure as James Rhodey Rhodes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The day after Howard's departure, Marvel didn't waste any time seeking a replacement. According to Rolling Stone, they were already in discussions with Don Cheadle, a distinguished actor known for his performances in films like Hotel Rwanda and the Ocean's 11 trilogy. Cheadle seemed like a natural choice to step into the War Machine armor for Iron Man 2. Interestingly, Cheadle's connection to the role predates Howard's casting. Reports suggest that Cheadle was initially considered for the part of Rhodey in the first Iron Man film. In an interview with MTV News, Cheadle explained, "I met very early on before the first one with Jon Favreau and the team, and I guess there was a split. Some people wanted Terrence, some people wanted me." Howard confirmed this story during an appearance on the radio show Sway in the Morning, stating, "Really, initially they wanted Don in that role, but my agent pushed me in. So I never had any beef with Don about it." James Rhodey Rhodes made his comic book debut in Iron Man number 118, created by David Michelini, Bob Layton, John Byrne, Glynis Wein, and Irving Watanabe. From his inception, Rhodey was an integral part of Tony Stark's story, evolving into a hero in his own right and eventually donning the War Machine armor. When Terrence Howard assumed the role of Rhodey in the first Iron Man film, rumors of tension between him and Robert Downey Jr. began to circulate, allegedly stemming from pay disputes. Entertainment Weekly detailed Howard's purported difficulties on set and director Jon Favreau's dissatisfaction with his performance, which led to reshoots. Adding to the complexity, Howard was reportedly the highest paid actor in the film, an uncommon situation for a supporting character. This financial disparity likely contributed to the tensions on set. Ultimately, Don Cheadle took over the role of Rhodey in Iron Man 2 and subsequent MCU installments, marking the end of Howard's involvement with the franchise. Howard later elaborated on the situation, explaining that a pay dispute over the Iron Man sequel, combined with a lack of support from Downey Jr., led to his dismissal from the role and the MCU. In a 2015 Rolling Stone interview, Howard claimed that the millions he was supposed to receive went to Downey Jr. instead. And guess who got the millions I was supposed to get? Howard said. Downey Jr. got the whole franchise, so I've actually given him $100 million, which ends up being a $100 million loss for me from me trying to look after somebody. During an appearance on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live, Howard addressed the rumors linking his departure from Iron Man 2 to pay disputes involving Downey Jr. and future sequels. Howard asserted that the deals were pre-negotiated, but he was offered considerably less to reprise his role as Rhodey, reportedly around $1 million. Additionally, Howard claimed that Downey Jr. did not respond to his attempts to seek assistance regarding the matter. "We did a 3-picture deal, so that means that you did the deal ahead of time, a certain amount for the first one, a certain amount for the second one, a certain amount for the third," Howard told Bravo. "They came to me with the second and said, look, we will pay you 1/8 of what we contractually had for you, because we think the second one will be successful with or without you. And I called my friend that I helped get the first job, and he didn't call me back for 3 months." In the same conversation, Howard reiterated that he loved Downey Jr. and wished him the best. Downey Jr. previously shared a similar sentiment after the casting change in Iron Man 2, telling MTV News, "I had nothing to do with that decision. I love Terrence very, very much. That's all I'll say because I haven't talked to him yet." Don Cheadle also stated he wasn't involved in Howard's departure. However, Howard's attitude regarding the situation remained tense. He believed War Machine could have created a huge franchise and had a simple message for those involved with the decision to drop him. F him. With Terrence Howard's departure, Marvel swiftly sought out a replacement for James Rhodes, ultimately casting Don Cheadle. According to Rolling Stone, Marvel reached out to Cheadle just a day after parting ways with Howard, solidifying his role as the new War Machine. Cheadle's involvement with the franchise had been in the works for some time. He revealed that he had early discussions with Jon Favreau and the team before the first Iron Man film, indicating that he was considered alongside Howard from the outset. "Really, initially they wanted Don in that role, but my agent pushed me in. So I never had any beef with Don about it," Howard clarified. Taking over as Rhodey in Iron Man 2, Cheadle continued to portray the character in subsequent films, including Iron Man 3, where he assumed the identity of the Iron Patriot. He reprised his role in Avengers: Age of Ultron and played a pivotal part in the superhero conflict depicted in Captain America: Civil War. While Howard harbored no ill feelings towards Cheadle, he maintained a lingering resentment towards Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. The transition from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle in the role of James Rhodes brought about a notable shift in the character's portrayal. Cheadle's Rhodes appeared more relaxed compared to Howard's uptight demeanor, which provided an interesting contrast to Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. As the Marvel Cinematic Universe progressed, Rhodey's importance grew significantly. After his debut in Iron Man 2, Cheadle reprised the role in 6 MCU films, made a cameo in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, appeared in an episode of What If, and is set to play a significant role in Secret Invasion and the upcoming Armor Wars film. In November 2022, Cheadle mentioned that Armor Wars would serve as a rebirth for Rhodey, exploring his character beyond his relationships with familiar faces and delving into his identity when isolated from others.
We've had moments with Rhodey. He's helped other people. Now that he's without his best friend, I mean, where do you think Rhodey's at when we find him in Armor Wars?
At a very different place.
However, Rhodey's portrayal in the Secret Invasion TV series faced criticism, adding to the show's overall issues with writing and character decisions. The revelation that Rhodey was a Skrull in the series finale further disappointed fans, with the real James Rhodes having been abducted and replaced for an unknown period, possibly since The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Marvel Studios now faces the task of redeeming the character of James Rhodes. Many fans are hopeful that Armor will provide an opportunity for Rhodey to shine once again and serve as a fitting conclusion to the legacy of the Iron Man movies. As the last significant connection to the late Tony Stark, Rhodey's role holds particular importance. Despite War Machine's individual heroism, his fighting alongside Stark remain pivotal, especially for the original actor Terrence Howard, who has found success beyond the MCU.
Mr. Stark, please. Yes, dear. Can I have your attention? Absolutely.
But for the reason Terrence was fighting with Robert, which was his disturbed past, it seems like his own past was also not clean. In 2001, Terrence Howard faced legal trouble following an alleged violent altercation with his then-wife, Lori McComas. According to a police report obtained by the Smoking, the incident occurred during a heated argument over the phone. McComas claimed that Howard threatened her, stating he would come over and harm her if she hung up. She called 911, but Howard allegedly arrived at her location, breaking down a locked door. McComas stated that Howard then grabbed her arm and punched her twice in the face with a closed fist. Police arrived at the scene and Howard reportedly admitted to breaking down the door and hitting his wife. As a result, Howard was arrested and charged with simple A, terroristic threat, and other offenses. Ultimately, in 2002, he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct. Reflecting on the incident in a 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, Howard admitted to losing control and striking his wife in front of their children. While he acknowledged the severity of his actions, he expressed remorse for his behavior, acknowledging that even slapping her was wrong. Moreover, in 2000, Terrence Howard encountered legal trouble stemming from an incident on a flight. According to ABC News, Howard allegedly grabbed a flight attendant by the wrist and became confrontational when asked to return to his seat due to the fasten seatbelt sign being illuminated. He was arrested upon landing in Cleveland, Ohio, but was released the following day when the prosecutor determined they lacked jurisdiction to pursue charges. A few years later, Howard had an altercation with a couple in a Philadelphia bar diner. According to a magazine, Howard reportedly became perturbed when the hostess began to bring Danielle DiStefano and Kevin Safel to their table, so he stepped in front of them and asked why he wasn't being seated first. When DiStefano told him they were ahead of him in line, he allegedly told her, "F you, I wasn't talking to you." Safel demanded Howard apologize, but the actor A them both instead, Safel in the face and DiStefano in the chest. Howard supposedly continued hitting him, causing him to lose consciousness, according to court documents and police reports. Howard then fled and attempted to disguise himself. Following the incident, Howard fled the scene and attempted to disguise himself, but was later apprehended by police. While he admitted to the A, Howard claimed he acted in self-defense. Initially charged with simple A and H, Howard ultimately pleaded guilty to a charge of disorderly conduct. Following a tumultuous divorce from his second wife, Michelle Gent, Terrence Howard found himself entangled in prolonged legal battles over spousal support. In a candid 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, he disclosed that the divorce had drained him financially, leaving him broke as can be. Howard lamented that due to his ex-wife, his earnings from Empire were being withheld for garnishment, expressing the hardship of being a financially strapped movie star. By 2019, the Daily News reported that a judge had finally settled the contentious dispute. Howard was ordered to pay Gent a sum totaling $1.3 million, including $263,000 in unpaid spousal support and an additional $1,000. The same outlet later reported that Howard was additionally ordered to pay Gent's legal fees, amounting to $909,000. Once the full amount in arrears was determined, the judge planned to issue an assignment order that would, in effect, garnish his wages, a response to the fact that Empire was about to conclude its 6th and final season, and he would no longer be receiving that regular paycheck. "We need to have the monies held. He's in the last year of his contract. This is the last bulk of money we can reasonably get before it disappears," Gent's divorce lawyer, Karen Donahoe, told the court. Terrence Howard's prolonged legal feud with his ex-wife, Michelle Gent, became a drawn-out and highly visible affair. Following a 2015 hearing, the actor voiced his frustrations to Entertainment Tonight, expressing discontent over the public exposure of his personal life throughout the legal proceedings. "Sad that this has to be in a public forum," he lamented, highlighting the discomfort caused by the public scrutiny of his private affairs. Page Six reported that amid Terrence Howard's ongoing legal battles with his ex-wife, his role on the Fox drama Empire was purportedly slated for reduction. Allegations of domestic violence from Howard's past resurfaced in the media, prompting concerns about his character's portrayal. An anonymous source suggested to the outlet that Howard's character, Lucius Lyon, would be incarcerated in the upcoming season. season, resulting in fewer appearances on screen. The strategy, the source explained, involved introducing numerous guest stars and celebrity cameos to divert attention from Howard's reduced presence. However, Fox refuted these claims. In a statement to Page Six, the network declared, "Rumors that Terrence's role in Empire will be scaled back are patently untrue." In 2019, Terrence Howard found himself embroiled in a criminal investigation for potential tax evasion, as reported by The Blast. Documents obtained by the outlet revealed that Howard, along with his wife Miranda Pack and her company, Universal Bridges, were subjects of federal scrutiny for possible financial crimes. The actor had reportedly enlisted the services of a criminal attorney and engaged in discussions with investigators. When contacted by People, the United States Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania declined to confirm or deny the existence of an investigation.
All right, so Terrence Howard's been recently hit with the judgment to pay back taxes of close to $1 million.
Earlier, The Blast had uncovered official records indicating that Howard owed $143,538.61 in unpaid taxes for the year 2010, along with accumulated interest and penalties. These records also warned of potential government seizure of his property and assets if the debt remained unsettled. The outlet further recalled Howard's previous tax issues, including a 2010 lien for $1.1 million in unpaid taxes, and another lien in 2006 exceeding $600,000. However, it appeared that both liens had been resolved by the time the reported criminal investigation emerged. In addition to conflicts with ex-wives and the Internal Revenue Service, Terrence Howard also had some issues with his landlord. In 2013, TMZ reported that he was sued for back rent after being evicted from an apartment in New York City. According to court documents obtained by the Tab, Howard's lease ended in November 2012, but he never moved out, remaining in the place until he was formally evicted in May 2013. However, talking about Iron Man, despite not reprising his role as James Rhodes in future installments of Iron Man, Terrence Howard has maintained a successful career in both movies and television. He has appeared in various films, including notable performances in Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners and Lee Daniels' The Butler. However, his most prominent post-MCU role is as record executive Lucius Lyon in the musical drama series Empire. Howard has also starred in M. Night Shyamalan's mystery Wayward Pines, the Peacock comedy The Best Man, The Final Chapters, and is slated to star alongside Kevin Hart and Samuel L. Jackson in the upcoming Peacock series Fight Night: The $1 Million Heist. While Howard's trajectory may have diverged from the superhero star path initially envisioned, he has continued to secure engaging roles in the industry. Regarding his alleged feud with Robert Downey Jr., Howard shared in a 2016 Instagram post that things were all good between them. It appears that any animosity Howard may have harbored towards Downey Jr. in the past has since dissipated, indicating a sense of reconciliation between the two actors. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.